Right, welcome everybody to it's the 1st of March 2024. Welcome to another in our series of webinars for Friday afternoon. I'm joined by two colleagues, Benny Igihon and Christophe Manger, and today we're going to be talking more about Scanner Match, our new feature, or fairly new feature. It's been around for a while now, but we're going to talk about some changes to that feature that are going to benefit everybody, and we're going to talk about the feature as a whole. So we're going to kick off with Benny. Benny's going to give us a good rundown of the feature and show us how it works, and then we'll move over to Christoph, who's going to talk about those changes, and then we'll have time for questions afterwards. But as usual, bit of housekeeping. If you have a question, please go into the Q&A section in the bottom of your screen there and ask your question in the Q&A section, and then we'll get round to all of them. You can do that while you're watching Benny's demo. So without further ado, please, Benny, thanks very much.
Thank you. Hi guys, happy Friday. Hope everyone can hear me okay. Cool, excellent. This is my screen. This is our test account, and you guys are probably used to it. This is the landing page showing you your dashboard. What I want to do today is just talk a little bit more about this button here, which enables you to actually scan documentations into the system. Of course, if you know about Scan and Match, you'll know that not only can you scan documentations into the system and convert that to both invoices or purchase order, as it shows you here, we also have the capability to pull your invoices directly from your email address into the system. A little bit of code in the background with the likes of Christoph and Richard supporting you to set that up, setting up the redirect to your Procurement Express platform, therefore allowing the system to read those invoice, match it up against the PO for you, or if those invoices don't have any PO associated with them, have them as standalone invoices in the system. But for this scenario, I'm going to show you how very easy it is for you to scan a document or upload a document into the system and convert that document into either a purchase request or an invoice. So for the first one, we'll do a purchase request. So I'll show it again. Let me go back one step. You click on this button here, it says scan document, and then you choose what type of document you would like to be creating. So in this scenario, I want to make a purchase request. So I've selected the purchase request. All I do now is choose a file. In this case, I'm going to choose this particular file here, open it up, and it shows me what the file looks like. So it's showing me this is what the file looks like. If I'm happy with it, I just click upload. And then you allow the system to do its work in the background. From my understanding of things, we have OCR and a bit of AI support there, working in the background, and that's converted that documentation that I've selected into this a purchase request. So you can see straight away the supply is already selected, the currency is already selected for me. You can see the unit prices for the different description of the items are all there accurately done. And the quantity is also done for me. You can see the total values there, and it matches up with that amount. And then all I have to do in this scenario is just select the budget. So in this case, I'm going to say the entertainment budget is what I'm going to use. It's almost used up, so maybe I'll use a different budget. Let's use this budget. Yeah, it's a bit more in that budget. There we go. And then finally, I'm going to use the rest of this budget. There we go. So the budget is already selected, and then finally just choose a milestone. These are custom fields. So in your scenario, your custom field will be customized to your account. But in my case, these are my custom fields. This is the only one that's required. So I'm happy with this. I can choose my approver. If I need to leave any note for anyone in the system, I use the app feature, select different members of my team who I want to speak to. I don't really want to speak to anyone right now, so I won't do that. And I just click send. And once I click send, it's going through, waiting for approval. In this case, I believe I'm an approver. But what I want to do, just for the sake of this demonstration, is I want to upload a different documentation, which is just going to be my invoice, and see if that invoice can be matched up automatically with this purchase order. So what I would like you to make a note of is this purchase order number here. Can you see that? Purchase order number 874. So let me go to invoice, choose a document, upload that into the system. There we go. Upload that into the system. Can you see what it's done for me? I've uploaded that documentation into the system and it's straight away telling me that this is the invoice reference number. This is a supplier. There's all the details about it. It's giving me straight away a confidence score. So how confidently the system, the AI and the system in the background feels that this invoice matches the purchase order. And then do you guys remember the purchase order number I mentioned before, 874, right? So look, purchase order that it's matched up with is purchase order number 874. If you look closely here, where my mouse icon is, it's telling me, is it an invoice without PO? It's telling me no, it's not an invoice without PO. It's got a PO, and this PO is the 874 one that we looked at. If you scroll down a bit more, it shows you the invoice detail that it's matched up with quite well. So it's saying these items, they match up perfectly. And you can see it's telling me it's matched up. So if you look closely between these items and the invoice as well, you can see what's done there. For example, the best items at the top shows you the unit price is 203, which is correct. Quantity is free, correct. And the net amount is 609, which is done there for you. So everything matches up quite well, actually. And if you look at the bottom, the number is accurate. But the system is telling me it's 95% match. And it's highlighting that there's a little bit here that it's not too sure about, that he wants me to have a quick glance over to make sure it's okay, which I think is quite smart. So he's saying it's not too sure about the number. It thinks it's 3.41, but he wants me to check to make sure this number that it's recorded is accurate. And it's accurate, so I can click save. Once I click save, there we go. The invoice is connected to the purchase order. And if you look at the purchase order, it's all there. Perfect. So now I can accept this. And then, you can go ahead and do the next things that you need to do for this purchase order. So you can see against this purchase order right here, you see the invoice, it's already there. Cool. I'm going to stop for a second. I'm going to try to bring in the main man himself, Christoph, to talk about this a little bit more. Christoph, what I'll do is I'll actually leave my system open. So then if you want me to go through any points, you can go ahead and do so.
Sure. Thank you, Benny. Very good, very nice demo. Yeah, so we are doing some improvements to the scan and match. As you can see, it's quite practical. It helps you save time, but we want to make sure that it's really actually accurate in the information that it's reading and in the way also it matches. Okay, so first, on the request scan, if you could go on the scan document button, just click on it to display the usual pop-up. You can see here today, you can choose between invoice and purchase request. When you select purchase request, we have an improvement that's going to come where you can pre-select the department and the budget that you want to apply for all the line items, so that kind of help you save a bit more time rather than uploading and then being in the purchase request and having to go and edit the budget every time. Just we ask you for it once and it will apply automatically. We also are doing some improvements on the recognition of the information on the document to fill in the line items in a better way, and to be more accurate compared to what we can find on the document that you are uploading. We're also going to change the way if you just select a document, if you and scan it for a purchase request. If you take a purchase request, take your document previously.
I'll use this. Yeah.
Yeah, you can use that and upload it.
There we go.
Okay. Thank you. So you see here in this case, it's a good case because we've recognized the supplier. There are some times where we don't necessarily recognize the supplier. What does it mean? It means that we have a supplier that's been identified by the OCR, but we haven't found an exact match to the suppliers that you have defined in the system. So we're going to change that so that it displays what we have found. And when you make a selection for the correct supplier that you want to have there, we'll remember that so that the system will learn from what you do. So a few evolutions on the request scan to make it even more usable than it is now. The second part of evolutions we're doing is on the invoice scan and match. There are some evolutions similar on the supplier side to display the supplier name that we have been able to read. Today we also keep track of what you are selecting if it's a new supplier, and we keep that alias list ongoing. We have some evolutions also coming up. Sometimes when you scan a document, you might not have line items very precisely defined. And we end up today with an invoice with no line items, but with total amounts. We're going to do something to automatically create a line item based on that information so that you don't have to, at least you have a valid invoice with the content, and then you can go and decide to change it if you want to. And second part that we're doing evolutions on is recognition of taxes. Sometimes taxes are mentioned at line item level are tax rates, or line item level are amounts, or they can also be present at invoice level as tax amounts or tax rates. So we are going to improve that to recompute tax rates and or tax amounts. You have the possibility to change the tax amount if you want to be able to match to the amounts that you have on your actual invoice. And again, make that invoice a bit more complete in terms of information between the line items and the totals. Okay. And these are upcoming in the next few releases.
Amazing.
That's great, Christoph. Anything you want to add to the demo that Benny might have missed, or did you think he covered everything okay?
Yeah, I think he covered. Oh, actually, it's a good point. We have introduced also a new function. So if you go on the import line items, we have so previously you could import a CSV file using a template that we provide. Now you can we've introduced the scanning also. So instead of using a CSV file, you can also put there a document. It will read the supplier and the line items and add the line items to your purchase request.
Yeah, one of the great use cases for that actually is those customers of you that use something that generates a bill of materials. So some of our customers are in the manufacturing industry or in the construction industry in some way. They do a design for something. The design software then kind of spits out a bill of materials. And then what you can do is you can attach that bill of materials to a PDF file, for instance. You can attach that bill of materials and it will pull them all in as line items associated with the particular purchase order. So it gives you the ability to do that, and we've seen that work quite nicely for some customers. I have a couple of questions here for you guys. Like you say, if anybody who's currently watching live wants to ask a question, if you're not watching live, please send a question to support@procurementexpress.com. That's support@procurementexpress.com, and the guys in support will either know the answer or they'll know who to redirect the question to. So if you're not watching live, do that. But those people who are watching live, you can ask questions directly. But we've got a couple of questions for you guys. How does this one, I think probably for Christoph, how does the OCR technology in invoice scan and match work?
Yeah, so OCR technology is an image recognition technology. It's using various statistical methods to be able to recognize areas that are with pixels and areas without pixels. And then based on recognition of forms, then it's able to build basically letters and then words, right? So it's basically that's the principle of that. And in our case here, the OCR looks at specific areas of the document to be able to detect the supplier details, the line item details, any type of references that might have been put on the invoice and that could be useful. Dates are typically in a header, so there's a specific portion for that. And same thing also for total amounts, tax amounts, gross amounts are typically at the bottom of large tables in documents, and these areas are more specifically targeted to be able to go and recognize the information.
Okay, yeah, I mean, OCR technology has come on in leaps and bounds in the last, say, 5 to 10 years than it was in previous times, and it's really able to extract a lot of things, even in documents that are kind of been scanned, screwed up, and they've got kind of lines in them. It can understand some of that if it's not too bad. Is it another question? What sort of invoice formats can our scanner match feature handle?
So invoice
File formats.
Yeah, so file formats, it supports PDF and it supports images.
Okay.
Okay, as I mentioned, OCR is an image recognition technology, so it's based off of images. It supports PDF because PDF has a graphical representation of its output.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you're receiving anything in say an Excel format or a Word document, for instance, then you can easily convert it to PDF and run it through Scanner Match if you want to. What specific fields does Scanner Match feature support for data extraction?
In our case, it's based off financial documentation. So it supports suppliers information, payment information, line items, total amounts, gross amounts, reference fields. It's typically what makes up a financial document can be recognized.
Great. Okay. Can we handle invoices that are in different languages and different currencies? That's another question that I've got.
Yeah, so the currency of the invoice is recognized on the document. In terms of languages, I know it supports all, let's say, European or standard alphabet-based languages.
Mm-hmm.
It's also supposed to support Japanese, although we haven't had the chance to to test that yet.
No. Okay. Okay. Cool. Well, that's good. Okay. Good. Okay. Last question from this customer. Then, how does the scanner match feature ensure the accuracy of data extraction?
So the OCR behind it as the recognition has got model validation. What happens is the models are trained and then they are verified against a test data set to ensure that as the product evolves, the consistency of the results are there. And that helps us then detect, did we lose some data, did we miss some data, or do we have a better detection rate of this data?
Okay, cool. Well, that's it for all the questions. And I propose that we, unless anybody else has any other questions, then we leave it there. So if you guys, anybody watching wants a live demo of Procurement Express or of Scanner Match, please feel free to reach out to us. you can contact us directly by emailing support@procurementexpress.com. That will end up going through to us, and we'd be happy to line up any sort of demo, either of just the scan and match feature if you're already a customer, or if you're not, of the entire product itself, of Procurement Express as a whole. We'd be happy to do that. Please feel free to reach out. So thanks very much for attending, and look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care.